Hi, I'm Kirsten Goggin with Century 21 Affiliated. I'm going to be discussing what is buyer's agency and why do you want that when you're purchasing a home. So we're going to start out with Mr. and Mrs. Seller. They are going to generally contact a real estate professional and they're going to sign a listing contract and they're going to agree to a certain percentage. For sake of example, we're just going to say 6%. So the listing agent is going to market the property and be working for the seller's best interest, trying to get top dollar for the property, and they are going to get paid half, so 3% to represent the seller. So that other 3% goes to whatever agent brings a buyer, resulting in a successful closing. So now let's talk about you and I. So you are interested in purchasing a home. We're going to meet, go over the home buying process if it's your first time, answer any questions so you know what to expect. And then I'm going to send you listings and we're going to go out looking at homes. So if you like, I always say try before you buy. So before you hire me as your buyer's agent, I want to make sure it's a good fit and that you feel comfortable and that we enjoy, working with each other, because any big life event is stress. Even if it's good stress, it's still stress. So you want somebody that's going to, be available, get back to you, and make it as fun and stress-free as possible. But once we start looking at homes, you're gonna have a choice. I don't have to be your buyer's agent. Again, I get paid the same whether I'm your buyer's agent or not. However, if I'm not your buyer's agent, I have to represent somebody in the transaction. So if it's not you, then by default, in the state of Wisconsin, I work for the seller. Even though in most cases, I'm not gonna even know who they are. All communication is gonna be going through the agents. And we talk to our clients. So they would talk to sellers, and I would talk to you. So what does that mean for you? The seller is gonna pay me. So wouldn't you want me to be able to represent you? My motivation for wanting to be your buyer's agent is because I get to know folks so well. Many of my closest friends have been, past clients and vice versa. But I want to be able to look out for you. What does that mean? So when you are ready to write an offer, I'm going to pull sold comparables to see what have other homes that are very similar and in close proximity. What have they sold for? What is fair market value? I want to make sure that you're not going to overpay. And then I'm going to help you come up with a strategy based on the situation of the property. Is it a foreclosure? Is it a distressed property? Are we competing with other offers? How do we get your offer accepted for the price that's going to be most appealing to you, but also the terms? I want to negotiate on your behalf. And confidentiality is another one. If I'm not your buyer's agent and you want to offer $10,000 less, but you really pay full price, you pretty much just told the seller, because I work for the seller if I don't work for you. Also, buyer's agent, I'm going to write the terms in the best contracts or the best interests of you. So I'm going to write the contract with inspection. So we're going to do radon, home inspection, well and septic, financing, appraisal, anything else that might come up with a specific property, lead-based paint. So yeah, we want to make sure that you're well protected contractually. And then I'm going to manage the transaction, stay on top of deadlines, make sure we're not in breach of contract at any time, and just kind of guide you through it and make sure everything's plugging along. And if we do hit a bump somewhere, which happens sometimes, then I'm there in your corner telling you what our options are and getting us through it, getting it to the closing table. So I am an accredited buyer's representative. What that means is that I've taken extra courses to get the designation of ABR. So it's classroom training, which is not fun, but very educational. So better ways to represent buyers such as yourself. And then also, here's an example. So what about homes that are for sale by owner? Well, if you're seeing them on the MLS, so Truly, Zillow, Realtor.com, Wisconsin Homes, there's a gazillion of them. So the secondary MLS sites, if they're listed on there, then the seller has agreed to pay for whoever brings the buyer. They've just cut out the listing side of it. So usually they're about 3%, but there's no set commission in real estate. So they're still going to pay for somebody to represent you. And then they're going to be on their own on the on the listing side. So new construction, if you go to a builder, of course, they're gonna be like, no, it's a brand new building. You don't need to be represented. But if you're out looking at homes, they've already got a sale price. They figured it in there. They're gonna be paying commission anyway. So you might as well be represented. You still want to do certain inspections. I mean, yes, it has to be signed off by the city or village municipality inspector. And most of the time they come back pretty clean, but I have had some new constructions where there were some inspection items. So you want to make sure that you're being protected. Also, there's not as much wiggle room on new construction, obviously, because they're not having to move for a job or something. They're in it to make a profit, as they should, because they are a business and they're offering most of the time a very good product. But sometimes you can negotiate in some upgrades or switch things out. Also, you've got an agent then looking after deadlines and just making sure the contract stuff is good and that we're moving right along and getting to the closing table. What happens if you want to write on one of my listings? Great question. So obviously, if the seller has hired me to look out to advocate for their best interests, I can't very well have your best interest in mind in the same transaction. So what would happen then is each party would decide their comfort level. We could bring in another agent, so each party has an agent representing them, or we could always switch to multiple representation, which means I become neutral and I just write the offer, present it to the sellers, see what they want to counter. But that's still better than, if you go right to the listing agent's going to get all 6%. And you're working totally for the seller and you're not represented at all. So another thing that I've heard before is, well, shouldn't I just contact the listing agent because they're going to know the most about the property? Well, we call it co-broke. We all work together. All the brokers, we put all of our properties on the MLS and we all work together for the best interest of buyers and sellers to get homes sold and make deals come together. So while yes, I haven't been in every single house that is on the MLS, I can get you into any property that's on the MLS, or even like straight up for sale by owners that are just have a sign in the yard and nothing. I can still handle those for you too. But I can get any answers to any questions that you've got, and we're gonna have an inspector go through the entire house. So we're gonna know that property pretty well before you get to the closing table. So you want to check out kjsellsmadison.com. I have tons of extra information, flyers on all of this with detailed information, or if you're getting this in a video email, then it's attached. But something that has absolutely nothing to do with real estate, but I love to have fun, is I sponsor housewarming. So once you get all moved in, I'm going to bring over the beer, quarter barrel of domestic or 3.5 cases mixed, whatever is your heart's desire, because it's Wisconsin and after a move you're going to be thirsty. Yeah, so that's the scoop. Give me a call. I will set you up for showings. I'll send you some listings, or we could just get together ahead of time, go over the process if you're a first-time buyer so that you know what to expect. We really want to understand your real estate goals so that we're looking in the right areas and also putting you in touch with the right financing people if you don't have one picked out already, so that you're all ready to go once you find the right property for you. Home scouting report. So we talked about Truly and Zillow, all those other sites. Home scouting report is the only direct MLS public site, obviously besides the one that the realtors use. And I've been told by buyers that you get notifications a full day before Zillow and Trulia. So in the seller's market like we're in, that can make all the difference in the world between, having it be gone if it's priced right and it's a great property in the first day. So check out my links, sign up if I haven't signed you up already, and let's go shopping.